Hey guys, Dr. St. Chin here at the ChicagoChiropractor.com. This is video number 2 in the Reduce Your Inflammation, Reduce Your Pain video series. In this one, we're going to talk about how you can use food to reduce inflammation and therefore pain. Obviously, you're in pain and you want to get out of it. So keep watching, there's a ton of great information. A lot of you understand how food could be used as medicine. It has a huge impact on your health. That makes sense, especially in the context of hypothyroidism, autoimmunity, or anxiety, let's say. But when it comes to musculoskeletal patients with low back pain, neck pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, headaches, etc., they don't often think about how much of an impact food can have on their recovery. And when I say food has a major impact, I'm not just talking about on them feeling better. I'm talking about them getting rid of their pain faster. When it comes to your back pain, your hip pain, your foot pain, whatever it is, I always tell my patients food plays a major role. Think about food and supplements as your speedometer, right? And I've drawn it right out here. It's going to determine how fast, how quickly you can get out of pain. The more anti-inflammatory nutrition and foods that you consume, the more anti-inflammatory supplements that you're considering, the faster you're going to get out of pain. Simple as that. Generally speaking, a good place for musculoskeletal pain patients to start is the anti-inflammatory diet. After your initial examination and history, then we can start to tweak things and personalize them a little bit more. Maybe we need you to do a little bit more raw. Maybe we need you to go AIP or just paleo. Depending on what your needs are, that's when we can personalize. But in general, anti-inflammatory diet and nutrition is the key place to start. Now, I'm not going to just leave you high and dry with that recommendation. Now let's talk about some really specific, high anti-inflammatory potent foods that you can start consuming now in the comfort of your own home to start reducing inflammation. The first major food that you're going to want to consider is green leafy vegetables. These things are packed with anti-inflammatory flavonoids, and they come with high concentrations of antioxidants that directly repair cellular health. So really, really good. So things like kale, spinach, chard, collards, eat as much of these as you can. Really, really powerful. Next one to consider is bok choy. Some people aren't too familiar with this, but it's a delicious little treat. It's packed with antioxidants, these specific ones called phenolic antioxidants, as you can see here. These are really potent free radical scavengers. It's also packed with tons of other minerals and vitamins. Really, really healthy choice. Include this in your diet. In addition to bok choy, you're definitely going to want to chow down on some beets. Beets contain something called betalain, which gives them their rich color and also acts as an anti-inflammatory nutrient. They also help in terms of inflammation by inhibiting cyclooxygenase enzymes. They do that by their folate, manganese, potassium, and magnesium concentrations. Definitely get beets. In fact, I just recently went to Whole Foods and got sauerkraut beets, which was unbelievably delicious. A great way to chow them down, because not only are you getting the beets, but you're also getting the probiotic benefit. You can't have a healthy anti-inflammatory diet without considering broccoli, right? And for all you youngsters watching, you're probably like, no broccoli, please. I was the same way when I was a kid. I couldn't stand it. Obviously, tastes change. A good way to prepare broccoli is actually by grilling it. Make sure you grill it with some safe grill paper. And what I do is I'll put a little bit of oil, whether that's coconut or olive, and I'll just put a little bit of lemon in with it and some sea salt and black pepper. That alone makes the broccoli taste delicious. I could eat that just by itself. But broccoli contains a bunch of really powerful things, tons of vitamins, so many vitamins, antioxidants and carotenoids. When you take the vitamins, antioxidants, carotenoids, and you put them all together, you get anti-inflammatory nutrition. Really, really powerful there. And as an added bonus, broccoli is anti-carcinogenic, so it's good for preventing cancer. Really, really good to include in your diet. If you don't like broccoli, fine. I'm pretty sure you probably like blueberries. There's not many people that I know that don't like blueberries. But ideally, I'm not talking about blueberries in pies or in muffins. I'm talking about just straight up blueberries. These things are awesome. They have one of the highest ORAC values out there. That's basically a measure of their antioxidant status. So with that high of an antioxidant status, specifically quercetin is one of the antioxidants that they contain, really, really high anti-inflammatory value. So you're going to want to consume these. Ideally, what a lot of people recommend is 1 cup per day, 1 to 2 cups per day. That's more so for brain health, but I tend to consume that amount, and it's not because I'm trying to improve brain health. It's because I use it as a really sweet treat at the end of the night, and it's an added plus that it improves my brain health. But what I do is I'll freeze them, and I'll take those frozen blueberries and I'll chow down on them after a meal. And to me, that's just as good as ice cream or some other sweet treat to finish and polish off your meal. So definitely include some blueberries. They're delicious and really, really healthy for you. Obviously, there's a bunch more really potent anti-inflammatory foods and nutrition that you can consider. Things like salmon, celery, turmeric, ginger, flaxseed, coconut oil, bone broth, the list goes on. These are really important also to include in your diet, and in general to follow the anti-inflammatory diet food plan. But in addition to adding more anti-inflammatory nutrition in and more nutrient-dense nutrition into your diet, you also want to avoid foods that actually cause inflammation. So that's another thing to consider. Some of the foods that you want to avoid that can be potentially inflammatory are going to be things like processed sugar items or refined sugar, hydrogenated oils or fried foods, high fructose corn syrup. That shows up in almost everything, so be careful. Read food labels. Vegetable oils, refined flours, dairy. Dairy is a big one. You know what I'm going to add to that is gluten. I'm not a gluten zealot by any means, but there are a lot of you that need to avoid it. So gluten is definitely up for consideration, as well as grains, artificial sweeteners and additives, really anything added to foods that shouldn't be there naturally. Conventionally raised fats and meats, those are really, really inflammatory, as well as some produce. Any pesticides, hormones on your foods need to be avoided. There's a whole bunch of more items that you're going to want to avoid, but this is a generally good place to start. And then also just, which is pretty obvious, avoid your junk foods. Don't be chowing down on your muffins, chips, pastas, things like that. That should all be avoided if you want to go anti-inflammatory. So this is a generally good place to start. Okay, great guys. We just finished video 2 of the Reduce Your Inflammation, Reduce Your Pain video series. In this one, we talked about how food influences inflammation and how you can choose very specific foods and types of eating to reduce your inflammation and therefore reduce your pain. If you want to learn more about food and get a very personalized individual dietary strategy to start reducing your musculoskeletal pain, click the link below and schedule a free consult now. Otherwise, stay tuned. There's more great videos on the way that are part of this video series. This is Dr. St. Jean. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.